is there a misconception of drugs? I mean, are there people that are just keeping their blinders on, or what are you seeing?
Oh, there's some of both. And I think that there are many people that do not see the problem. And it's maybe because they choose not to. I think it's sometimes with addicts or with any kind of addiction or problem. Oftentimes we don't want to recognize it. We don't want to believe that it's our neighbor next door or it's even in our own families. I think we're in somewhat of a state of denial. But if you scratch below the surface, you'll find that there are a lot of people hurting in our communities. There's a variety of reasons. Broken families, children not having adults protecting them and teaching them and leading them. Our schools can only do so much, but I think in many cases where there are problems, the consequences oftentimes are not executed. They're told that there will be consequences to their action, but there isn't. And so I think that all of those things contribute to problems. I think that there are people that want to help. I don't think that they always know how they can help, how they can be of assistance, or how you actually tackle a problem. I think that since also the 60s, when we developed a myriad of government programs to take care of all of society's ills, I mean, it's kind of that was the formation of the Great Society in a way, that people stepped back. Churches stepped back. Communities did and said, well, we now have a government program that will take care of this for us, and basically we no longer have responsibility for that.
In your own opinion, what did you see happen at that point?
Well, I think that's where you start to see somewhat of a deterioration. It's people no longer being responsible for their own actions or taking the responsibility of raising their own families and teaching them about values and morals and all of the things that are important to them. It's about taking our families to church, and making sure that they understand about what it's like to worship God and return, that reciprocity to community in the way of helping others and serving other people. I think that we viewed the government as the servant, that we were paying our taxes and therefore they should be providing the programs that would take care of, again, our problems. And I think that has been a major flaw. Granted, there are many people that do not support that philosophy, but I think it's one that we have to take on. Yes, we can partner with government in many areas, but in others, there are certain roles that only government can play. And I think when it comes to law enforcement, that's where we see their involvement in the drug, substance abuse, alcohol abuse. That's the role the government oftentimes plays. It's in law enforcement, it's in incarceration, it's in corrections. But the rest of the community, I think, has a responsibility for the caring and the loving and the shaping of society. I just do not believe that that's solely government's role. Yeah, the government's an institution. It doesn't necessarily have arms to wrap around people. It provides maybe parameters or boundaries. Writing more laws, passing more bills into law does not change people's attitudes, does not tell them necessarily how to live their lives. And I think that oftentimes it does take a village. Yeah, I didn't necessarily like the phrase either, but sometimes, as much as we hate to admit it, one family doesn't always do the best job. Maybe the parents are the substance abusers or the alcoholics, or they've got other problems and they're not focused on their own children. And those children need someone around them, or those elderly people need other people around them that will help care for them, to let them know that they care. And maybe sometimes it's plowing the walks, or getting the groceries from the car into the house, or taking them to the grocery store, or taking those kids, introducing them to church or Young Life, or some type of activity that is going to be a positive building block activity for people that help develop trust in their life, and as you said, values. And when I see those things, I really am one that believes like in volunteerism. And those are things that we can introduce into people's lives at an early age, that I think they will, the greatest reward there is that satisfaction that you've helped someone else. Mm-hmm. There are so many positive things that we can introduce, and I think that it takes many people. It takes the clergy. It takes community leaders. It takes people that lead Campfire, Boy Scouts, youth groups. It really does take a lot of people to help shape the type of community that many of us want to live in.
Sandy, you actually visited our faith-based facility. What did you experience there, and what did you feel when you were there?
First of all, I have to tell you that I didn't know what to expect. I really had no preconceived expectations. And so when I walked into the facility, a little late I might add, it was overwhelming. First of all, to see this house packed with people. I really thought that I would be walking into a meeting with somewhere between 8 and 15 people. And so that was my first, I said I didn't have any preconceived ideas, but that initially was a surprise to me. You know, I was welcomed in, people said hi, have a seat, and you all went on basically with the program because you had already started. I think that what became most telling to me that evening, being part of this and watching what happens, is first of all the testimonials, where people stand up and they talk about their own problems, and it might be similar to AA or something like that, but it's just that acknowledgement of truth and what is happening in their life. I think, frankly, looking at then the role playing and putting someone into a difficult position, it was really like preparing them for how they were going to talk to their own family.
I don't understand. I thought that you had found God.
I had.
So how could God let this happen to you?
See, that's why we tell you, you need to do it yourself, okay? You need to do something. You know,
I know. I have. I mean, the ranch was good for me the first time. You know, I did. I got a lot out of it. I have God in my heart. You know, with the miscarriage and everything that I went through, I felt alone. I did, and I'm not making excuses. It's nobody's fault. I mean, I'm the one that chose to go out and use. I am. And
why would you want to go use again, Stacy? You know that road and where that takes you. I just don't understand.
I know.
So what do you want us to do?
I just want you to at least try to find it in your hearts to forgive me. I mean, I know that, I've said this before, you guys. I know I have. If you could just, I'm not going to ask you to, you know, trust me or to.
Stacy, you know I love you. You know we love you.
I know. I just have to prove myself this time, and I know that. And I'm just asking you to at least, you know, just.
Yeah, you need to get your stuff together, Casey, for you and your kids.
I know.
Yeah, I don't understand where we went wrong.
It's not your guys' fault.
Well, I've worked hard all of my life to raise you children, and I don't see where we went wrong. I worked really hard. I taught you the rules and the regulations, and I brought you up, me and your mom, as best as we could, and this is the repayment that we get.
You don't have to be this hard on her. You can see.
Well, I don't know what else to say, Angela. We've been through this a lot of times.
She's having a tough time here, and this is about, she's trying to get help.
How many times have we had these tears before? Oh, Daddy, I'm sorry. Oh, Mommy, I'm sorry. How many times have we been through this already?
Well, we're gonna go through it one more time.
You know what? I'm getting older, and I want to start enjoying my life. I've dedicated my life to work and my kids, and now I want to sit back. And they keep coming to me with stuff like this.
Stacy, I'm gonna be here for you, whatever you need.
I know.
And we will get this worked out.
I know. And Dad, I understand you're upset, and you have every right to be. You do. I'm not going to say that you don't.
I've heard
it's
the
not
song
your fault,
and dance
and
before,
that's fine.
though. It's like, when does the song and dance end?
Well, maybe
you always
she
come
some
with
more
the
support
tears.
from us, maybe. That could have
I don't
been it.
know how
I don't
much
think
more
maybe
support.
that we wouldn't even go
Well,
to church with her. Maybe we should have went to church
Church,
with her.
we don't need church.
Is you didn't say, well, now you guys need to go out and take care of this, and you need to talk to your family to be able to address your problems and ask for forgiveness or ask for their help and support. You were basically giving them an example of how to do that, and how to talk with them honestly, to convey their feelings, because I think a lot of people here, they hurt so much that, and they're used to suppressing them. They're used to talking many times to people who don't care about them. And I think that's a challenge too for some of them, is who do they go talk to? Sometimes is their family the right place really to get support when it may have been their family that betrayed them in the first place? But here they can come to a place where I think many of them develop, for some of them, maybe trust for the first time in their life. They know that there are people there that are constant in their life, and they're going to be there providing them support, helping keep them on track, helping keep them accountable for what they have signed up for, and leading them on a path that many of them have never known, leading them to developing faith and trust for the first time in their life in something much more powerful, and to a life of honesty, and maybe sometimes simplicity, helping them get back to their own families, if they will, or be able to find a hope and health to have one. I don't know about, I haven't been there again. I hope to take people there. When I came out, I was there for 3 hours, and I have to say, when I drove home, it was a good thing it was a long drive. It was almost overwhelming to me about what had occurred there that evening. I don't like to think that I'm far removed from things that are happening in the community, but I have to say, and I think oftentimes we say, well, I don't know the addict, or it's not, I don't think that it's my neighbor or my family, but I do know people that have problems. But I have never been to meetings where people really discuss it all, lay it out on the line, and then talk about, okay, what is it that I have to do to keep moving forward, instead of regressing or ending up back in jail. And how can that happen? And I think I really thought about, okay, what are the ways, how can we help? How can we make this happen? How can we reach out to these people that maybe we just don't see every day?